Greetings, everybody, and welcome to That Game Plays Live with, your favorite group of gamers. And we have so much going on today. I can't possibly say how excited I am. It would be an understatement if I did, because we have a very special announcement. And with that, Mr. Jonas J. Campbell, I think it's your turn to speak.
Well, you see, when a channel reaches a certain age, it starts to view other channels in a very special way. And I just want to point out, for those of you who have been asking for this ever since we started here, ever since we had our first live stream, the first question that comes up is usually, hey, why can't I? Well, now you can. I'm gonna test this out right now. Apparently, we can super chat to this channel right now. I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna see if I can get the inaugural super chat in before anybody else actually. Oh, the button is live. What's something unkind that I can say to us that's both biting, sarcastic, and has a rapier wit?
Jonas, your voice is too low for dogs to hear, and culture, you have a scraggly beard.
No, that's I think we might actually get blocked here. Hold on. Let's see if it goes. Hold on. It's asking me for my CBC code.
Oh, Juliet beat you.
Oh, she beat me.
Pinochet beat you.
Okay. All right.
Third place is fine.
Juliet for £5. Hold on 1 second. Juliet, we need to bring in the whole panel here so that we can all favor this.
Yeah.
First of all, joining us from beyond the atmosphere, crowd control to Space Dave 2000.
Hey everybody, I'm way up high. Hey panel, how's it going? How's everybody on this panel today?
Extraordinary
culture. I heard a vicious rumor and I'm seeing it with my own eyes. Are we monetized? Is that what you're saying?
We're almost all the way monetized. We reached the base level of monetization where they will let us do super chats here. Now we also need to bring in our resident weeb, but you know, he says this, not me. It sounds like an insult, but I want to bring in the Wunderkind here, Mr. Spencer Baculi.
Spencer,
hey, you gotta roll with it, right? I'm not gonna deny what I am. Hello, everyone. Kultura, Jonas, Space Dave, what is up, guys? Excited to be here. Excited for monetization. I've never seen, or I guess Bounding's channel is monetized, but my channel is not monetized, so I have no idea how it works. So,
what is your channel?
Congrats to us.
Can we point out what is your channel?
Yeah, what is it?
It is at Studio Kabuto. Very easy. Hit that up. All I do right now is live stream because that's kind of all I have the time for. But yeah, no, I'm excited for us to be monetized. What's the future of monetization, Jonas? What does the base level mean?
The base level basically means that we can do super chats. So that probably means that we will be more inclined to do live streams. It's actually one of my favorite things to do here because we get to have the conversation with the audience
100%.
here. And also, you know, if we had gotten our act together maybe a week sooner as far as putting this channel up, we would have streamed during a Nintendo Direct, which that's the kind of thing I have always wanted to do professionally. It's funny to do something professionally and not get paid for it. Now we can theoretically do it professionally and get paid for it. Now, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a grifting piece of advice here, Spencer. When I asked you what you do on your channel, you should have also provided everyone the time for your live stream.
I was going to do that, but I figured I'm not going to step on everybody's toes. We got to wait till the end to do all the shameless promo.
Do it now, right now.
Do it now, right
Spencer,
now.
I demand
now. What is it? 5 p.m. Pacific time would make that 8 p.m. Eastern time. Friday nights at Studio Kabuto on YouTube. I host a live stream, The Good, the Mad, the Ugly, where I hang out with you guys, have dive into more topics that dive into topics that might not necessarily get talked about around our sphere, like anime, tokusatsu, but more importantly, it's a conversation with you guys. So if that sounds up your alley, come hang out with me. I'd love to have you. Grift done.
Spencer,
I'm new
Spencer,
to the grift. I'm new to the grift.
I've got a question.
Hit me,
sir.
Dave.
Do you like Dragon Ball Z?
No, I think it's disgusting. I don't even like anime. You know,
Take
that
them off.
weeb.
Take them off.
No, of course. I love Dragon Ball. It's the best.
Right.
Where let's see. Let me bring this up. Can I even like move it back enough?
Oh,
back there.
Ooh.
I got Trunks back there behind the green screen.
Even more my man now.
Oh, that's
there
great.
you go.
That's great.
There you go.
Okay, so without further ado, let's bring on some of these super chats.
Yes.
Juliet for £5. Good evening, young Gandalf, Frodo, Samwise, Mary, and Pippin.
Wow,
Oh, man,
brilliant.
Sam, am I Sam?
I'm going to let you claim Sam because I mean, honestly, Sam is the best one. Frodo is great, but Samwise is the power behind the entire fellowship here. Nothing happens if it wasn't for Sam.
Do I have to say potato? How did he say that?
Potatoes. And of course, there's that wonderful clip of Sam has all the best monologues in the Lord of the Rings movies. It really the whole statements about the importance of the world come from the importance. I'm sorry, this is that game place, not that Jonas geeks out about the Lord of the Rings place.
But we can, because I was going to say last night I wrote an article about Viggo Mortensen and it let me go back to Return of the King to get images. And the scene, I don't care how corny and how cliche it is, but the scene where Aragorn slices off the mouth of Sauron's head, turns back to the troops, and for Frodo, like chills every time. I want to like rush into the streets. I'm like, it's so good.
It is so
agreed.
So very good here. Pinochet's helicopter tours for $2. Super chats, yay. Yay,
you,
absolutely.
Yay, indeed.
Thank you.
Yep. Let's see here. Hey, look, it's Loki's Mornings of Mischief. Make sure you're subscribed and leave a like for this awesome channel. Loki, I want to make sure I will send you this link personally if you don't have it, man.
He does, and he's got other stuff he's taking care of.
I know he does. He's got a lot going on, but I'm hopeful for Loki's swift return to the channel. And this is not, I know everybody saw me and Loki get into a little spat the other day. You missed that no, I'm just joking. Just joking. I was attempting drama there for a moment. I can't do
How'd that work?
That Park Place for $10. Shut up and sing like Randy.
You got to leak DMs, Jonas. That's how you start drama. All right, leak DMs.
We're in your Slacks, Jonas. We're in your Slack already. Hacked.
Oh man, I heard some information about that hack.
The hack?
That I'm not allowed to say just yet.
Ooh.
But it is information that you will also not find in the hack.
Excellent, Jonas. Excellent.
It's a lot to go through.
We have not gotten access to that. I'll just say that. Jay for $5. If Microsoft can fire the DEI team, can they fire Bill Gates? Oh, I don't think they can.
Does he still have a role?
I don't even think he's part of Microsoft anymore.
Yeah,
I thought he left that a long time ago. I think he just gets money now. I think he just has shares.
I'm going to let you guys in behind the curtain here because Bill Gates was on the thumbnail because Bill Gates is the most recognizable face for Microsoft, despite not being at Microsoft.
You're telling us we're playing the SEO game, Jonas? I can't believe it. None of us have ever done that here.
You know what? You have to elevate your grift there, Spencer.
No, 100%. I'm learning from you guys.
Let's see. Butter Biscuit 92 for $5.
Hey.
I love this guy. Won't be here long today because of the funeral. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, wait. I'm hopeful that you're meaning the Star Wars funeral, which, by the way, I'm planning on being over there in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to hear Jonas's takes today. LOL. I don't think there are any. I don't think that we're going to be venturing into any territory that's really going to get me in trouble today. Well, I think culture might have a few things that could maybe hurt or help me there. By the way, and thank you again, Butter Biscuit.
Thank you.
Tom F says memberships. All right, so Pro does not interfere with the channels very much at all. I think he trusts us to handle a lot of this stuff, but this is the one thing that he decided for us. We're going to be waiting on memberships. Even though super chats are turned on, watch page ads, whenever we get to that, that's the normal kind of monetization that goes on channels. He did tell us we have to wait on memberships until a certain threshold. He and I, and probably Culture, are going to have a discussion with him about what that threshold is. But there is a secret threshold at which we will be turning on membership.
Super
so secret that neither of us knows what it is yet. And Pinochet's helicopter tours for $2. DEI is gone. What will useless communists do now? The same thing they do every night, Pinky. Wait, sorry. What? The same thing they do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world. Exactly.
Yes, I knew that was coming. You guys were so good.
All right, so
I promise you we're very shortly going to get to that story, but there's one that's like close, near and dear to my heart that I really want to dive into with your kind permission, gentlemen. And it is that I absolutely used to love and enjoy playing role-playing games. I would play D&D. There was a White Wolf Star Wars game for a while. There was a spy game that I used to play. Of course, Vampire the Masquerade. There were many of these great games, right, that I loved. I spent hours. I would work on my character only to almost always be the first one to be eliminated from whatever it was. But I loved to do that. And then I got so involved, I actually ran games as dungeon master back in the days, or game master, depending upon the game you're playing. So I developed this really large collection of books, which are currently in storage because I don't have time to do any of the tabletop stuff that I used to love. I'll get back to it. We'll may even do it here. We don't know. There's a lot of open doors for this channel, but there's something going on at Dungeons and Dragons. We've got a story here. This one we will get to right now.
Do we have to roll a perception check before we see this?
You know what? I feel like you know what? Why didn't you make that joke sooner, Space Dave?
Sorry, I'm not as talented as you and Jonas. I don't know my cues as well.
No, you're fine.
Did you notice that Spencer, who was left off that list?
No, I did not.
Who?
What? Never mind.
What did I do?
Not you, Culture. Go ahead. I'm just messing around.
All right, fair enough. So anyway, That Park Place has a story, and we use stories from everybody, but we know these That Park Place fellas. Anyway, Dungeons and Dragons executive producer Kyle Brink, who wanted white men out of the hobby, is no longer working for Wizards of the Coast. That's right. Yeah,
it's funny.
Me sowing, me reaping. A tale as old as time.
A brink is like the edge of something, right? Yeah. And assumingly like a cliff face, like you get to the edge of a cliff face, and that would be the brink. Would you say that he's gone past that?
Yeah, I think now he's about to break, to quote a song.
Or he's over the brink at this point, right? He's got no job.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I hope he has employment elsewhere.
Well, I imagine he does.
I hope he does. Yeah. I don't want him permanently unpersoned.
Yeah. I think he probably has opportunities. But Kyle Brink was a former executive producer on Dungeons and Dragons who wanted white folks out of the hobby. He's no longer at Wizards of the Coast. Brink's LinkedIn profile confirms he's no longer there after spending 3 years and 4 months at the company and nearly 2 years as an executive producer on Dungeons and Dragons. It appears that Brink's time at Wizards of the Coast ended in May. Well, now, wait a minute. Was that around the time when he really had stirred the pot to the complete destruction of everything? No? They let him hang out?
I broke the Kyle Brink story a while ago. That was like a year ago. That was like a year and a half ago. So that was a while ago he did that. Now, I'm curious. It's citing the LinkedIn post as him not being there, but is there any confirmation he was fired or even like...
No, it's just
he was fired.
No, all it says is that wow, he's still in Renton. Anyway, he's just no longer there. Former executive producer, Dungeons and Dragons. That's it. Doesn't say this article doesn't indicate it or anything. And
see to that end, it makes me very curious here if this is even truly a story, because if he got kicked out, if he got booted, yeah, definitely this is something to report on. But if he just said, I'm going to go do something else, Is that anything?
Yeah, well, it is because of the nature of the situation. Because as you said, you broke the story about him being, very much against people who might be a little more pale, like myself.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If he got booted out, if he got booted out from what he, again, me reaping, me sowing, me sowing, me reaping, if that's what happened, definitely a story. But if he was just like, hey, I don't want to work here anymore, then I fail to see like that. That's why to me, we need more info for this.
Well, that's why I'm kind of getting through the balance of the story. But so apparently, the interview that he made and you made and others made famous about, not wanting pale people to be in D&D anymore. He was also in charge of the disastrous OGL decision, which I did a couple of videos on my channel going back to that. So he was in charge of all of that. So the goal was for Wizards of the Coast to take 20 to 25% of earnings over $750,000 from the third parties that were building modules and things for people to play games upon, which is weird because, most people were creating games and handing around to, friends to run their own groups for a while. I know. I participated in that. Anyway. So what also happened with that, if you guys remember back to the OGL, Wizards of the Coast creative control would be handed over for any products created using the OGL. So basically, they own
and
your
revenue.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
this is something. If we can discuss the legal aspects here,
no, please. Yeah,
I'll throw in this. So this is why you find all these opoly parodies that are around. That like there's Monopoly, and then there'll be like whatever. If you're in Kentucky, it would be Hilltop
like Kentopoly,
right,
find them
things
everywhere.
like that. So you cannot copyright a game mechanic. You can copyright the name of your game, but you cannot copyright any of the mechanics inside of the game, which is why I don't think they could do anything here. If people are creating their own rule sets that could be added on, then unless I'm totally off on what OGL,
they can't copy the
that's
art.
What they wanted.
They can't copy the art and certain aspects of it. But yeah, you're right. I think they saw this legally in the 70s, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah.
They did backtrack on this because you are right. Yeah. You guys are right. There is really no way to wholesale enforce that, or even all it serves to do is ruin your reputation. When you go, give me a chunk of those fan modules. Well, okay, then like Culture said, we'll just go back underground. I'll just start handing them around in my Discord and going around your systems because you're being greedy and you're dumb. You're making yet another dumb decision in a long line of them that you've made across the last 5, 10, 15 years.
Yeah. And the thing that comes up is like, why would you not just create something else that sounds a lot like Dungeons and Dragons? Like if there was maybe a Tunnels and Trolls, for instance. I'm just joking. I don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, and I thought it'd be funny because D. Bud Martin brought up. I was more of a Tunnels and Trolls player.
Oh, I mean, you see, look at any like 90s cartoon or any cartoon really where they have a Dungeons and Dragons episode. It's always like sorcerers and swords, or like dice and danger, or it's really easy. You can just throw two words together, and as long as you got that ampersand there, I think most people will probably know what you're talking about.
On a side note, I find it funny that there was a small revival of the franchise when I think what's the show that
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, thank you. When they had it on there, and I was like, oh, this is a flashback, to our childhood, and then they kind of buried it so down in the depths by doing all these things, right? So the iron was hot, and look what they've done. So it's
man, what an epic amount of mismanagement. That's a great point.
Well, and this is the guy that made that happen, right? Hey, let's try to cash in on other people's work. Well, no, dude, that ain't cool. And so the backlash was epic, right? So you had these publishers like Paizo, Free League, and Cobalt Press basically starting up their own licenses. So numerous customers began to cancel their subscriptions to D&D as well, because they had that thing where they're like, oh no, look on the app. Oh no, do this with your phone. I don't want to do my phone when I'm playing D&D.
Yep.
That's some of the fun is the book,
Yeah, it's a sit-down game. It's like trying to put Risk in. That's why my friends don't like to play Risk online, right? Because you don't have that sit-down. You don't have that that experience of actually rolling the dice and doing it face to face, and it's meant to be that way. So it's like you said, you can't put it in an app. It's not meant to do that. It's silly.
It's like trying. Go ahead.
No, I'm reminded of Munchkin, that if you bought the Munchkin app, it actually integrated into the rules of the game, which makes it a little bit pay to win for any player that wants to have whatever that advantage was when you play Munchkin.
Pay to win, surprise, surprise.
Wow. Well, look, the last place that a phone belongs is in a tabletop game, unless you're trying to do math, and at a theme park. Okay, anyway, sorry.
No, for real.
Little crossover with little crossover with that game or park place. Anyway, so Dungeons and Dragons eventually backtracked on their proposed changes, and Brink admitted that he was to blame. He said in an interview with Bob Worldbuilder, changing the OGL did not give us as much as it would cost everybody, and so therefore it's dumb. This was a terrible mistake, and the first thing you do when you're in a hole is stop digging.
It's a fair point.
It is. Yeah. This
Don't
is
use
bad
the ladder somebody hands down to you as kindling to build a fire down there.
Well, it's because you're likely to end up a victim of that or something. But anyway,
True.
So it's unclear why Brink departed from the company. However, his departure comes as Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons began promoting the upcoming 2024 Player's Handbook, which from all reports is going to be irritating to people. The 2024 Master's Guide also going to be irritating to people. And the 2024, oh my goodness, it's woke, Monster Manual. So, fun. We'll be seeing those in September of 2024, November of 2024, and February of 2025. So, some of your rage can, wait until 2025. Anyway, so despite the departure, it appears a significant rot.
Got to spread it out. We got to take care of our hearts, everybody. We're getting up there in ages, all right?
We
got to spread out everything that's going to make us angry.
It's true. So despite Brink's departure, there appears to be significant rot. We agree. As evidenced by the recently released Dungeons & Dragons, The Making of Original D&D 1970 to 1977, which attacks the original creators. So they go after our boys. Anyway, so there's so much more context to this. Jonas, is there anything you would like to focus on?
Well, this is when you talk about something like this, where somebody makes it very clear that they're thinking along race-based lines with who should and should not partake in their product. I think it's so silly because large swaths of America, I don't know if anyone's noticed that there's a lot of white men in America. There's a lot of white people, and a lot of them happen to be male. And there's a lot of men in America, and a lot of them happen to be white. So why someone would try to exclude a large portion of the market, as if they can just pick and choose who are the people who actually enjoy what they do, if they can pick their entire market. There's an episode of Mad Men from back in the day where they point out to this TV sales company that, by the way, black people like your product, so we've made this ad, and they literally say, what's that?
No, that was Admiral Television in the show.
Yes. And the people literally say no to more money because of their prejudice. It's even more wrong, think, when it is a person who is a white person to say, we want to have white people out of this. I cannot understand or contemplate how someone could be taught to hate themselves in that way. I think I would love to look this person in the eye and say, you have value. You do not have sin based on the color of your skin, pal.
Original skin. Sorry, really bad pun. Keep going.
No, that was, I mean, cringeworthy pun, but excellent point. Hopefully we're getting past this now as a country and as a globe, but wow. I hope that wherever he is now, that he's not going and doubling down on this kind of rhetoric.
I want to agree with you.
Well, say hi to your new writer for Avengers 5. No, go.
Oh no.
I want to.
There's some breaking news we're ignoring on that one, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I think though that bad ideas tend to, like, when they get the light shone on them, right? They disappear and they go into the dark recesses of society again, but they always try to pop up in a different way later on. So, I'm very prayerful that this is extinguished at the root, but I doubt it because it's human nature to want to come back and try again and again with bad ideas. So
I thoroughly agree.
Yeah, hopefully not, but we'll.
Well, let's real quick and just to add context to the wonderful part of Mad Men that Jonas is describing, the Admiral Television Company knew that they'd had an uptick in sales from African Americans. They just didn't want to lean into it in any way. They were perfectly happy to have the extra revenue, but they didn't lean into it. But beyond that, of course, this all revolves around the same mentality. Nobody there is going to change unless they're forced to. And they start to kick, these humans out, or these ideas anyway, out the door. So Tondro was talking about the original game and saying, so slavery appears in original D&D not as a human tragedy that devastated generations over centuries, but as a simple commercial transaction. Well, of course it did. It was fantasy, referring to
But also
practices.
that's wrong. That's also completely wrong. In the original games, there are many modules where you have to fight slavers, and slavery is shown as an inherent evil. That there are enemies that are called slavers. Like there are entire story. It's insane. It's all revisionist history by people. This isn't by people. This stuff, the current designers aren't fans of D&D, right? They're fans of being fans of D&D. They didn't play the original stuff. They didn't engage with that original stuff. They're the kind of people who saw it getting really popular and they went, ooh, it's trendy now. I want to be in on that trend. I want to get in on this. And so that's, it's the critical role, the Vox Machina sort of crowd. That's who is in charge of all this stuff. It's no longer about, do you like the material? It's, do you want to be a fan? And that's sort of, that's a way bigger conversation, but that's where a lot of our sort of entertainment ills come from nowadays, is that it's more important to be a fan than to actually enjoy or care about the material.
And it's a very interesting conversation because it's infected, and I'll use that word with pride.
Yeah.
It's infected not just gaming, but all in entertainment, as you guys have said, in all these other shows that you do. And it's a very strange thing, and it happened all at once, it feels like, and it happened. And I'm not pointing a specific finger, but there's no coincidence that I'll just say the education system for the last 15 years has been pumping out certain characterized people that their goal and their thinking is all along this line. And it's, as Spencer said, they've taken something that was making money and worked. And now, I like that nice shiny thing. Let's change it to what I think it should be, right? Instead of, hey, I appreciate, a boomer made this or a Gen Xer made this and it really resonates. No, it doesn't resonate. I like to take what you've made and I change it into what I want it to be. And then you drive away people like us that said, well, what was wrong with it? It was never broken to begin with. And why would you exclude, as culture, you said, and Jonas, the biggest group of people that played this in the first place? And it was never exclusionary. I've played role-playing games before. I played it with all sorts of background people, I'll say that in general, and we all got along because it's a fantasy world.
It was also
playing elves.
It was also a way to express these fantasies in any given way. People who were normally introverts would gravitate to this. It was normally a group of it was normally a group of guys, but occasionally you'd have a lady join in, and the whole point of it was to 100%. Develop some social skills. I mean, that's not why people were doing it, but it helped.
It was a good side effect.
Yeah. And you had reasons to have conversations outside of maybe a classroom or whatever else, because most of the people, because they turned inward, became, very cerebral and invested in, geeky things like computers. If it weren't for D&D, maybe we wouldn't have the computer acceleration that we had. Maybe we wouldn't have a lot of these other things, because this is where conversations happened outside, because you developed interpersonal relationships that allowed for the broader conversations to happen. And I actually know of an example of that. So
you're 100% right, because I think in the late 70s, early 80s, the first games that were interesting were those choose your own adventure type text based kind of like on D&D adventuring. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, when in some of the great early games, once we got to animated GUI interfaces, were like things like Bard's Tale and stuff like that. So, and the greatest strategy games, you mentioned Risk earlier, but the greatest strategy games were turn-based and were amazing. And you spent time, doing this version of strategic planning, chess. It was just a different way of looking at the world and defeating your enemies or sometimes your friends. I don't know, but it was a lot of fun. Anyway, most of the rest of this basically breaks down the history of D&D and how it's being attacked and how the people who created it are being attacked. And, we're looking at a 50th celebration of the game in a lot of ways, and one of the, the original founder of D&D, Robert Kuntz, was basically saying, I have to take a break from posting. This whole attack upon the original TSR really tripped my trigger. The 50th year celebration, and this is it, of the original D&D authors. Its supplements, Gary, Dave, Jim, and Brian are gone. And that leaves me alone. Me alone is the last one standing, the last author. It really is a burden watching this slanderous episode unfold, and it was done without a bat of an eyelash. A WotC fait accompli, done in such an assumptive manner as they wield the holy articles on morality, which they enact with their reprehensible judge, jury, and executioner demeanor.
What a wonderful speech, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Don't pull punches.
And he follows it up saying they are probably wincing in wonder. Us, the saints of truth, more like snakes. And you can go on.
I just have to point out that I've put a poll in the chat, and Culture, I need you to weigh in on that poll, by the way. And I put it in the private chat for you as well. We do have some super chats to read, by the way. So whenever you're done.
Okay. Well, I am done. I was just wrapping it up, and then I was rudely interrupted by my co-host.
That's right. That's right. You were rudely interrupted, sir.
It's fine.
And it wasn't me for once.
Feels like the pro show.
No, it does. I apparently I have become.
It's like he's here with us today.
I will say this. I'm weighing in on said poll right now. I weighed in on the poll.
Well, your vote counts more than anybody else's. So
Gandalf
should
has
we do
no memory.
Stop the count.
Should we do breaking? Yeah, let's do it. Jonas, you want to host it? Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to dump out of our D&D conversation with a proper abbreviated outro to it, saying, look, everything that's being done here that was covered by John in this article is disgusting. There are a lot of people that are very frustrated. You're about to be exposed to the 3 books I talked about, where basically they're just hammering away at something that really was rather innocuous, ingenious, and a whole lot of fun. And it doesn't have anything to do with any kind of modernity. And once again, as Spencer pointed out, attacking it from a point of no understanding is very dim-witted and uninformed. Ignorant would probably be a better word. Anyone else have final words on this before we break some news?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Took the turn right out of my hands. That's all. You got it.
All right, Jonas.
Stop wrecking things. That's all.
But exactly, Dave. All right, Jacob Foxfires. Before we do it, let's make sure that we respect those who have respected us so much, honored us.
We appreciate it. We're very respectful.
Jacob Foxfires for $5. Finally, we can do this. Gamers rise up.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Jacob Foxfires. Glad that you joined us over here on that game place. Glade Riven for $5. Pathfinder 2 and Starfinder are my jam. Looking forward to Starfinder 2. Yes, Paizo is woke, but they still produce quality and can't afford not to. Profit incentive is a strong motivator for these people. Hey, look at this. Space Dave 2000. Haven't seen that guy in a little while here for $2 Canadian.
Never here.
I cannot resist the super chat button. Must send. Thank you, Dave.
My
Thanks, Dave.
Just herb for £5. Sorry, I suppose since it is pounds, I should say just herb. That game plays rules. Thank you for having these conversations that are so important. Anyone for GoldenEye multi-layer for posterity. I'm going to assume that means multi-layer. We're probably going to have to do. Did you just claim Odd Job?
Yes,
Man,
I did. In the chat, I claimed it. I've got
You're beating me to it already. Okay, so I don't want to do this to all of you, except that it is breaking news.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Just so you know, the MCU was a thing, and it might not be anymore. This exclusively from the Hollywood Reporter, but now we're talking about it here. Now that you are hearing it from Hollywood Reporter.
Semi-exclusively from that gameplay.
That's right. Marvel shocker, Russo brothers in talks to direct next 2 Avengers movies exclusive, just when you and the Russos themselves, quite frankly, I love this think on that one.
Real.
Thought they were out. Kevin Feige is pulling them back in by Boris Kitt and Aaron Couch. There they are. You know, I don't know if you guys know this, but these guys, they're not very well known. They are directors of an old show called Arrested Development. I hope they go somewhere.
Well, they also did a really good recent movie, or not a good one. I'm just saying a recent movie. It's called The Gray Man. You know, they're coming up. They're getting their chops ready again.
Yeah, I actually saw the first half of Gray Man, and I thought, this is not bad, not horrible.
Fine. Yeah.
No. Joe and Anthony Russo are assembling a team once again. The Russo brothers are in early talks. Okay, so they're not returning, but they're in early talks. To return to Marvel Studios to direct not just one, but the next 2 Avengers movies, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. The hiring ends a months-long high-stakes search by the studio for filmmakers to oversee the 5th and 6th Avengers movie. Multiple names were in contention, including Sean Levy, who is, of course, directing Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's see, sources say the talks are in early stages. Well, then I would question your headline. Maybe that gives us permission to say it exactly the way that Hollywood Reporter would. The move also marks a homecoming for the Russos. We know what movies they've worked on, but okay, there's my little bit there about Arrested Development. Obviously, they did Community, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Captain America: Civil War, Avengers: Infinity War, Avengers: Endgame, and Endgame. Let's see, combined their Marvel films grossed $6.7 billion, with Endgame standing as the number 2 movie of all time globally with $2.8 billion.
So they've made more money just themselves than all of Star Wars since Captain Kennedy.
Star Wars.
Wow.
But Space Dave, Star Wars hasn't made any money back yet.
That's what I'm implying too. If you do the math, it's like the reverse of that. It's like minus $6 billion probably at this point.
It's insane. Just insanity.
So Culture was not prepared to do this, and I'm being a little bit I thank you all for your indulgence. Everyone on this panel is, of course, qualified to talk about this.
I appreciate it.
I'm here for this. Yeah.
Why do you think it is? What's the situation at Marvel that has led them back, let's say, out of the MCU back into the group of white guys that is going to be directing the next 2 Avengers movies?
It's DEI, right? They want more DEI. Is that why? Right?
No.
They're so desperate. This is so insane.
Is it the greenbacks, the Benjamins?
I think it's all about the Benjamins. Yeah, I think
Always
Space
has
Dave, you
been.
hit it. Yeah, and I think it's very telling that they go back to the people who have given them the most financial success. It makes a lot of sense. And you know, the Russos had said some unfavorable things on their way out the door, thinking they were never going to return, stating they were never going to return. So to me, not only is this surprising, it's telling. And we've been talking about the fact that in entertainment, whatever it is, games, whatnot, the things that are being celebrated are the things that don't have the messaging in it and all the other garbage that we've been subjected to. I think the pendulum has just taken a very dramatic swing back the other way. And I think that we're going to start to see that.
Hallelujah.
Well,
yeah. I just want to point out 2 of the films that are. I mean, let's go for the 3 for here. First of all, Endgame, obviously the biggest film in the history of the MCU. I feel like that one was a little rushed, still, despite everything they did to get there. The most MCU film that you could ever have in the pinnacle of the MCU, in my opinion, when you're talking about all this cosmic stuff, shockingly mature, in my opinion. Infinity War is a miracle of filmmaking that ever even happened. And then, of course, Captain America: Winter Soldier, which is it's barely a superhero film. It is the closest to not being a superhero film of any of the more recent. I say more recent. It's obviously phase 2 there.
It's like a decade old,
And it captures Captain America's character too. I thought, like past Captain America was Steve Rogers, right? It told his story a bit better.
Right, adding that flip side there of the young innocent man and the old somehow still innocent man, and merging. It's one of the rare sequel that improves the original too. Oh man, they just did such a fantastic job with it. The next thing that I will be looking for, and we're not going to be talking about this for a super long time here because we do want to get back to games, but I want to make sure that everybody has the chance to comment here. The next 2 names that I would be looking for is Marcus and McFeely, because Michael Waldron, otherwise known as the Rick and Morty guy, he's out on Avengers. If they are really bringing the band back together, Marcus and McFeely are the ones that they have to bring in if they want to bring in that old school magic. It won't matter to me if they bring back the actors if they can bring in Marcus and McFeely.
What's your thought on Feige coming back as well? You think he'll?
Well, he's there. He's technically there. Yeah. I wonder. Does anyone want to talk about the Marvel TV fiascos that have been going on here? Actually, you guys, we need to make sure we have a soft landing here. So we need something padded.
We'll roll this into Fortnite. Don't worry. We can talk about the Disney deal at the very end of this.
Well, we want to have a soft landing. So we want to make sure maybe a plushy surface to lean against here.
Yes.
Perhaps felt, a little bit of fur, perhaps orange fur.
Yeah, orange fur.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, let's welcome in. We're going to say he's an expert on Marvel television here. Marvin.
Hey!
The movie monster.
Marvin!
Wait, I'm the plushy thing that you land on? That's my role here? Wow. Okay.
They said it. I didn't.
I know, Spencer.
From the
That's why
top
you and I are
turnbuckle,
still friends.
I was just going to call you a fabricated American. So.
Well, that's what we prefer. So,
okay, so I don't know if you heard this, Marvin,
I like
but are you keeping up with the show? The Russo brothers are coming back to direct Avengers 5 and 6.
Yes, ooh. I have heard of this, and I am cautiously optimistic about it. Is it a step in the right direction? Absolutely. But then again, we all thought Russell T Davies coming back to Doctor Who was a great thing too. So let's all manage our expectations, and maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised.
I agree. I'm worried the mind virus has, passed on to these guys, which, I'm worried too. But I hope along with worry, concern.
I just realized. Oh, go ahead, Marvin, and then
the one thing that I've often heard people say is that Kevin Feige gets a lot of credit for forging the Marvel universe and making it good in the Infinity Saga, but in actuality, a lot of the good stuff came from Jon Favreau and Joss Whedon and the Russos. So it looks like we're getting part of that piece of the puzzle back, and hopefully moving forward in a good, positive direction. But with this Avengers lineup, I mean, make me care about it, please.
Yeah, they are. That's why they're bringing back RDJ. Aren't you so excited for the desperate member berries that we're about to get? If the rumors are true, there's going to be 80 characters across these movies from everything. Everybody's going to have 2 lines, and then it's made for the TikTok generation. Hey, I'm Captain America.
I know for a fact that Spencer has read the Kevin Feige totally didn't write it himself autobiography that came out a little while ago. Yeah. Spencer, you want to talk about the Kevin Feige situation at Marvel?
No, why don't you take the lead, because I don't know exactly where you want to go with this one, and I could go 4,000 places. So you start us off, and then I'll jump with you.
All right. So basically, there's this book called Rise or Reign or something that's one word and letter R that is about the rise of Marvel Studios, or it's reversed. It's either Rise, the Reign of Marvel Studios, or Reign, the Rise of Marvel Studios. It doesn't matter.
It's one of those two. Yeah.
But these 3 reporters did a book, and in the level of access that they had, and the fact that they were making statements in this book that had to be cleared by Disney legal.
Yeah.
Means that there is no way they did this without Kevin Feige's explicit approval. Everything that happens in this pretty pretty long book for someone of
It's actually pretty thick.
Yeah. Every situation that is bad in the MCU is something that Kevin Feige came along and fixed. And everyone who does something bad is someone that was getting in the way of Kevin Feige.
It was all, let me guess. It was all Ike Perlmutter. It was all Victoria Alonso. All of
it's a super chat.
We have a super chat
Stanley.
that
Super chat says it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Aaron Glendinning
there
for
it is.
$5. And the Marvel TV failures
Pearl.
clearly due to Perlmutter. Obviously, the Chapek of the MCU. I don't know if I'm reading sarcasm into that or not.
That's sarcasm. That's
I was going to say.
I'm going to give our viewers the benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
Well, I've seen enough of Aaron Glendining's comments to say that I think he knows what's going on here. So that's beautiful. Okay. Do we have anything else we want to? Well, let me just make sure that I'm not missing any super chats here. But Jacob Foxfires for $10. Since we're talking about Marvel, any thoughts about Marvel Rivals? Okay, we're going to come back to this one after we get this out of the way. It'll be our segue back to the appropriate topic for this channel.
Thank you.
Anybody have any comments before we move past this breaking news?
Well, I just think that if Robert Downey Jr. does come back, he's going to come in and he's going to be like, man, I suck. This Riri Williams girl is so much better than me. And then he's going to die again.
I hate to say that you're probably correct.
Chris Evans walks in and is like, man, I suck. Man, Sam, you're such a better Captain America than me. All right, bye, everyone.
Again, it comes back to what we said earlier about D&D. Like, there's been a rot, and it's very hard to, if anyone's that's ever dealt with, let's say, mold, it's hard to get rid of, right? Like, if you don't go down to the source, if you don't get to the source of the problem and deal with it and replace it, basically, if you don't, and that's a hint there, replace it, you're still like, who's still in charge of all this? Bob Iger, right? He's been check marking. I mean, he can take all the success and all the failures in one fell sweep right here. And his direction with this Disney in general is not a Star Wars. Just makes me think, what I mean, you guys sat through that abomination last night.
My.
Right?
Oh,
so
yes, we did.
If you actually think
it was
there's
so
hope for
totally
Marvel,
worth it though.
If you actually think you think there's hope for Marvel, I want to give you a hug like I would a little 3-year-old and say, that's nice, because the evidence is too strong to me personally. And I'm not trying to be a cynic. I'm just being a realist at this point. What have we seen time and time and time again? I mean, why would they suddenly change their minds is my question to you. It seems like a, what's the term when you're fooling somebody or, anyways, it's not coming to my mind. I apologize, but it's just, it feels like, sorry?
No, go ahead.
It'll come to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll come to me. I apologize. Bait and switch. That's the word I was looking for.
There you go.
Sorry. Bait and switch is what we've got going on here, right? Because how many times do we see, they want to give us hope so the kids will buy the merch again and want to watch the Disney Plus shows and all this stuff. And they'll, because we're going to get great Avengers again. Yeah, Daddy, give me the toys and stuff again. But at the end of the day, it's bait and switch. Here's a poopy sandwich.
Literally the Doctor Who situation. Instead. That's what keeps coming to mind. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And it's
they brought back Davies and they said, oh, look, Tennant's back. He's going to lead in the next Doctor.
Yeah.
And the mind virus had infected them both on a level.
They even got Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, and they literally made him gay and then had him leave.
Yeah, I love that actor. I love him.
Did I hear that I missed the D&D conversation?
You did.
Yes, you did.
Thank goodness. Oh, thank God. There's nothing in this world that I hate more than Dungeons and Dragons. You have no idea. Like, I hate it with the red hot intensity of 1,000 suns.
Thank you for being here to take some of the.
No, I got exposed to it in current day by people who just made me hate it. So I've always said the right person might come along someday to make me actually like it, but as it stands right now,
that's good to know.
All right, viewers,
you made that
$500 donation limit. We'll make Martin play a campaign.
Oh no,
that's fantastic. Okay, so let's hit these super chats and then culture. I apologize. Thank you for indulging me here.
No, it's fine.
Metallica fan 1442 for £5. Did you guys see a year-old build of Space Marine 2 leaked by a hacking group?
I
did not see this.
Did not see this until the super chat came in. I pulled up the story real quickly, and it's true. Saber Interactive is very disappointed and disheartened by the release of the game. It's a previous build of the game, but basically all of the plot points and surprises are spoiled now. So,
Oh no.
the Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 is what's out there, and yeah, if you want to be bummed out early, this is the way to do it. You know what? I actually have the story. Might as well bring it on the screen. That was silly. But yeah, so this is not from anybody that I know, whoever this entertainment group is. But yeah, it's gamesindustry.biz. Yeah, it says here, boom. Saber Interactive and Focus Entertainment disheartened by Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 leak. Yep, all the secrets spoiled. Yay. So in a joint statement, the company said they were touched by the overwhelming support they'd received and asked fans to avoid the unfinished build and not to spoil the game for those excited to experience it. According to the development team, the build circulating is almost a year old and is not representative of the completed game's quality. Well, that's always true because it's a quick render. It's not a complete render. So our team have poured years of hard work, passion, dedication into creating a game worthy of your hopes and expectations, and it's disheartening that this did not like me at all. This is why I don't use this page, apparently. Creating a game worthy of your hopes and expectations, and it's disheartening that many of the surprises we worked to keep secret were spoiled. They're saddened that this build, which will be almost a year old by the time we launch, is how some of our eager fans first experienced Space Marine 2. Well, that they won't be giving you money. But Space Marine 2 will release on September 9, and the best way to support the team's hard work is to play the game as you intended you to play it. Well, that makes sense. So,
is this the one that has the custodes in it?
I can't answer that question. My guess would be yes.
I'm not familiar with 40K other than the general aspect that I know that there are Space Marines.
Yeah, no, they might be in the general lore around here, but that whole main controversy is in the actual tabletop game.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So who knows if they focus on it here?
Yeah, Warhammer is originally a tabletop, right?
That's actually a broader question that's been asked all over the place, including on Steam, and I don't think we have any definitive answer, so I would hesitate to speculate one. So,
yep. Well, anyway. I'd say that's a pretty good response to super chat right there. Well, yeah. Jacob Foxfires for $10, and thank you for your patience here. Since we were talking about Marvel, any thoughts about Marvel Rivals? It is pretty much an Overwatch clone, but so far it actually looks fun and surprisingly not as bad as Concord, which is a shock. We will be talking about Concord more on this channel. Oh, no getting away from that one.
Well, we actually have a video in the can ready to release, I think, for Concord.
I have not paid much attention to Marvel Rivals. I've noticed that Marvel and Star Wars are both releasing things that could be defined as Overwatch
hero
clones.
Shooters. Yeah, they both got hero shooters coming out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've been I'm more on the Fortnite side of whenever my friend group, whenever I sit down to play Fortnite, they're all playing Overwatch 2. I don't get it. Although not as much lately.
I play Overwatch 2, and that's an objectively bad game. I only play it because I have friends who are like, you want to hang out and play it? Like, all right, sure, why not?
So
it is a bad game.
I did not enjoy the game.
Confuses me, and that tells me that Bob Iger really doesn't know what the left hand and right hand of his company are doing, correct? Because if this is a clone of Jonas's favorite game on the planet, right? And
that's never going away, is it?
Mass Effect?
Yeah. In the same breath that he put $1.5 billion into Fortnite, why would they make this game, which is a competitor, as you said, it's in the same flavor of Fortnite, and then say, we figured out that kids like games, so we're going to put Fortnite, $1.5 billion of Disney into Fortnite.
So,
like, what?
So what it is, there's delineations here. So that investment was into Epic Games, not Fortnite specifically. So we don't know. They said that whatever is coming out from this is going to be a brand new way to engage in an ecosystem and all that sort of stuff. So that's sort of a separate project. And also in regards to gameplay, they're in the same arena, but Overwatch, Fortnite are kind of two very separate games. So I can see them, to me. So I've followed Marvel Rivals since it was announced, since it leaked. I'm actually going to play it. I'm not going to be happy about it because when Overwatch first dropped, I was super into Overwatch. I loved that game. As it went on, it just turned to poop. So I don't play it anymore. But this is Overwatch with a Marvel skin. I am only a man. I have to, at least give it a shot. So, this is going to be a way more competitive thing specifically, and probably more marketed towards Asian territories than whatever their Fortnite investment is going to be. Whatever they're doing with Epic Games, that's going to be its whole own stupid thing that I don't even think they know what they're going to do. Like, I think that was a really quick, rash decision by Iger, and all of the surrounding press around it is so very generic. But I think
more like a panic decision, just like a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, I get the feeling that somebody after that announcement probably came up to him and said, "Oh, Mr. Iger, sir, we have Marvel Rivals in the oven right now, and you've just kind of destroyed."
Well,
like, thanks a lot,
remember his whole stupid reasoning for that, or at least the reasoning he took to the public and in all the interviews was, "Oh, the reason we invested was because I just learned that people were playing video games, and I said we got to get in on that." And it's like,
kids like video games.
Yeah, right.
Kids like
video
games.
A, kids like video games. Shocker. B, you guys shut down all your video games. Right.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was.
He's got the level of plugged into the youth of today as Vince McMahon was.
Exactly.
Where he'd be like, you know what the kids love today? Those Looney Tunes. And he had Roman Reigns come out and say in a promo in like 2017 and be like, suck a tash.
Yeah, Bob Iger has obviously got his finger on the pulse of society. Didn't he just buy a women's football team?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, like American football?
Like
soccer.
Are we talking soccer? We're talking soccer, right?
Football or hand egg?
Soccer, yes. But let's return to super chats here. SFX Sabretooth Raptor for $5. Sorry, got fooled too many times with Marvel Star Wars. Don't care. Let's talk about which Mega Man game was the best from each console too. I'm going to go with X2, by the way.
Me too.
On that one.
So I have a weird Mega Man that's my favorite.
Mega Man Legends.
Yes, that's it.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah,
my man.
Legends and Mega Man Legends 2.
2 for X2 and 2 for
my
Legends.
God.
Yeah.
I didn't like that they changed Mega Man's voice in Legends 2, but other than that,
I didn't either. I kind of like the higher one a little bit, but yeah, no, I'm right there with you.
Rock.
I think the better Mega Man games were on PlayStation as well. Correct, if I remember correctly.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'd say Super.
That's why I don't have. That's why I don't have as much
X1,
experience.
X2, X3. Those are like my favorites.
The two games in this world that I'm like, please, Capcom, for the love of God, give it to me in some kind of port form, is Mega Man Legends and Breath of Fire 3. Like, just give me those two games, please.
HD
I can't believe there's no Mega Man Legends collection. There's enough for it. There's 1, 2, Misadventures of Tronbon, and if you really wanted to stick it into the wound of Mega Man fans, you can put that demo for Burning Ash that they put out. That was supposed to be the tech demo for Mega Man Legends 3 that never came out. So there's enough to put it together. We've seen
here's a question. Here's a question. Beyond games, is what they've done with Mario movie and with Sonic. Do you think Mega Man's a strong enough franchise to make a movie out of?
Okay, big time. I need to point this out. Guess who has the rights to Mega Man right now and is not doing jack with them?
Netflix.
Don't say Disney.
20th Century Fox. Marvin was
correct.
correct.
No, it means Disney has it.
Is Disney?
It is Disney. Disney has the rights to Mega Man right now.
You know what that calls for? Put a chick in it and make. Oh, sorry.
Yep. There you go. Roll will be the lead character.
Roll would definitely be the lead in that one.
I'd be okay with that. I love Roll.
The Mega Man cartoon, by the way, is one of the greatest video game cartoon adaptations of all time.
Super fighting.
Was that Japanese? Was that Japanese?
Man.
No, that was full American. That was a full American.
I thought there was like a
it's American as apple pie.
I think you guys are forgetting what our headlines are going to start looking like between segments.
Yeah.
This is what they're going to look like.
it's beautiful. It's
I
beautiful,
love that
and
so
is
much.
from the best of the Mega Man series ever made. Just want to point that out.
Correct.
And that was courtesy of Space Dave 2000.
I
Oh,
also
great
need
work.
to point out here-
Can we update that to like have him slide in and kick Disney, like a symbol of Disney off to the side? Would that be too much?
We
Going
could take
too
the
far?
we can take the Mickey Mania, the pixelated Mickey from that, and have him run into him. I think we could probably figure out how to animate
it's
that.
like,
One of my first ever video games was a Mickey Mouse game. When I was a kid, for the original Nintendo Entertainment System, it was Mickey's Mousecapades.
Yep.
You played as
Yeah,
both
that
Mickey
was
and
fun.
Minnie. Yeah, I still remember the music from it and everything. Oh, it was good.
Yep. Man, that takes.
Capcom
I'm within 6 feet of my Mickey Mousecapades cartridge right now.
Oh man.
Butter Biscuit 92 for $2. Before we
Castle
move on
Illusion,
from
that was a
super
good one.
chats,
Hang on. Go ahead, bro. Go
is
ahead.
Butter Biscuit 92 for $2. Legends 2 was amazing.
Yet
Amen.
but it ended on a cliffhanger, which I still to
I
this
know.
day
Get him
hate.
off the moon.
I know.
pissed.
Mega Man was
don't even get
stranded
me
on that
started.
moon. Ugh.
Okay.
Roll and
it's so
Tron
good.
are like working together to try to get him
All right.
back. Like, come on.
Oh goodness! And
Never gonna
wow.
happen.
now he's in the Disney vault somewhere. You'll never see him again.
Oh, don't say that. That's like I'm like heartbroken right now.
Butter
Next
Biscuit-
super chat. Next super chat.
Butter Biscuit
Yeah.
92. Thank you so much, Butter Biscuit. I appreciate the super chats, but I also like that apparently you like what we're throwing out today.
Yeah.
Mega Man X and Zero are the best Mega Man characters and needs in anime. Do you remember
Very
that
true.
episode of the Mega Man cartoon where Mega Man X showed up? That was a good one.
That's the very last one. They cliffhangered that one too, and then they said that was supposed to be a backdoor pilot, and then Ruby Spears folded, and we never got it.
You know, I think I misspoke earlier. I
Oh.
said Mega Man was the best video game cartoon adaptation, and I'm sorry. It's the more I think about it, it's still the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. But
Hey, paisanos. That's what.
Captain
Okay.
Lou, I gotta go with Captain Lou.
I can't believe they canonized all of those family members those random family members that show up in that show. They're all canon now, thanks to the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Mhm.
All the ones that they eat dinner with in the very beginning, like they're all just random cameos from that show. Where it's like,
Are we
gotta
even
go to
Luigina?
Uncle- Yeah, even Luigina. Like they're there. It was that to me that in like the first 5 minutes of that movie, I saw that and I was like, okay, whoever wrote this does really care about this. Let's have a ride.
So
did
Marvin,
Did they actually do the Mario at all in there? Was that in there at all?
They played the Super
I don't
Mario
think
Brothers
so.
rap from the end
Yes.
credits, but they didn't
Okay.
do.
The Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
But
so,
so-
Mar-
something-
Marvin, do
Hey.
you believe that Lou Albano? Oh, sorry, I'm saying his name.
No,
wrong.
please
Still
go.
alive.
Why
Captain
not?
Lou.
Yeah.
Captain Lou. Do you believe that he could have actually played Mario in a movie at that? segment of time?
No,
No,
oh
he's-
heavens, no.
He
No.
was
A little
not.
bit
Well, because
too,
I don't think Mario works in live action. I think we learned
Right.
that with Bob Hoskins. But no, Captain Lou, he was great for the bookends on every episode in the live action, and he was great as the voice. And the cartoon was just good. I liked it a lot,
Yeah.
and especially like the one where Roddy Piper shows up.
Yeah,
I
and
sometimes
and,
think you like that guy. I'm not
and
sure.
I think-
Roddy.
yeah, I think the sentiment in the chat is let's not have Disney touch video game things. Okay,
yeah.
I'm of that mind.
100%.
I'm of that mind too. I also need to point out the guy who played the vampire who shipped themselves to the Mario Brothers when they put an ad for a roommate in the newspaper. That's also the voice of Clank from the Ratchet and Clank games. Anyhow,
So incredible.
Butter Biscuit
Beautiful,
92
mysterious Madame
Wow.
Magogo.
for $2. The Mega Man irregular anime one shot was amazing. Okay, I have to look this up.
Now,
No,
I
yeah,
gotta look that up too. I never heard of
So
that.
that was an anime back in what was it? I'm gonna say like 2006, 2007. On the PSP, Capcom remade the first Mega Man X game as Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. It was fully in 3D, same game. It was great, and a bonus in that game was a full 30-minute prequel anime episode that explained how the Mavericks like went Maverick, what happened to Sigma, what happened to Zero, and leads right into the very beginning of the game. And they were supposed to go on and do more, but again, then they entered what I call the Capcom Dark Ages, where they sort of stopped trying. They started putting out a lot of garbage, a lot of like Dark Void came out during that time. Street Fighter 5 came out. It was just a very uninspired period for them. and I think they're slowly recovering, but not anywhere near where they used to be. Not even close.
And a secondary question: Mega Man was actually never in Smash Brothers, right? Nintendo never brought.
Oh,
He
he
was.
is. He's in the
He's
most
in the
recent
latest
version.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he
But
debuted in the
wasn't
one
regular,
before
right?
that. He debuted in the one that was for 3DS and
In
Wii.
4,
wasn't he?
yeah, he
okay,
did.
okay.
He
Yeah.
My
did.
memories.
And we
I
have
almost broke my laptop when that trailer played.
Wow. Well, we actually have a story coming out that's related to Smash Brothers, but not the way you think.
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
That'll be within the next 24 hours if you
That's
are
right.
subscribed to that game place. All right.
Yeah.
Jacob Foxfires for $5.
If you're here and you're not, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spencer, were you one of those? Were you one of those people that cried when they announced Sora?
I didn't cry, but
Don't
I
lie.
definitely my 13-year-old heart lost its mind in the
Your
same way it
13-year-old.
did when I saw Mega Man.
Jacob Foxfires for $5. Since there is some Mega Man fans, remember there have been like 5 Mega Man projects that all got canceled in a row, including Legends 3. And I gotta say, Mighty Number 9. I've never been so excited and so disappointed for a
Man.
game.
What a bad I remember being so excited, oh, we're back, baby. Original creator. They're not doing anything with Mega Man. We're finally gonna get just pure garbage straight on through.
Yep. Butter Biscuit for $2. The Mega Man. Oh, wait. Did I read these out of order?
I would,
You did, I think.
before we go to the next super chat, I would almost posit that Mighty Number 9 was one of the very first instances of the modern day trend of insulting your core customer base to sort of appeal to other audiences. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but in the first trailer for that game, they had a voiceover announcer sort of, this is a new game, this is what you can do, and then one of the last lines he says is this game is so hard it's going to make you cry harder than an anime fan on prom night. And it's what that is your base. Why would you just randomly take a swing at them like that? So very odd. Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Hey, anime fans, yo losers! Now
And
buy our
exactly.
stuff.
Now give me your money.
As
You'll
if the
never know
crowd
the
fund
touch of a
wasn't
woman.
fully
You're
Look
built.
at them
die
now, though. Look
alone.
at those anime fans now. They're like the top of the
Yeah.
You-
Yeah. Oh, how the turns have tabled.
You will never be
I-
in a
I-
relationship. Comfort yourself with our game.
Jonas, I'm not an expert, so maybe you can help. Isn't the quote that the weeb shall inherit?
It's
close.
pretty close.
Weeb
It's 2
shall
letters off,
inherit
but
the earth.
I'm
Yes.
yeah. Yep. SFX Sabertooth Raptor for $5. Best Super Mario games of each console. I did like Bob Hoskins as Mario. If the story was much better, aka like the latest Mario movie. Okay, let's
go around the panel for this.
Yeah, we need to go around the panel,
we will.
and then I think we need to cut off so that poor culture has been waiting to do our title
patient.
story for an
Gandalf.
hour.
I know.
Oh Lord.
I'm
You
gonna
hobbits.
we're gonna have to limit to one console a piece here. I'm gonna say as far as Mario games, GameCube, Super Mario Sunshine, and then let's go counterclockwise. So
What?
Space Dave, and then end on
What?
culture.
L take Jonas making his big return. Here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I can correct that. Super Mario Sunshine for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, there you go.
Dave?
I think my heart is with Super Mario 3. That tells you how old I am, and I do appreciate everything after that. But it really changed the genre in a special way. It really, I think, went another level. And then, a very close second is Super Mario World, because that really changed the genre too. And a lot of the new games are great, but those are the nostalgic ones for me. So.
It's good stuff. Marvin?
The one I've replayed the most is Odyssey, but I would say my favorite is probably RPG.
Ooh,
out of
Good
left field
choice.
there.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
a great game, to be honest. It's really
it is.
I'm
I'm
currently playing it now on the Switch.
Well,
Super Mario
We're
Paper
trying to do a
Mario.
live stream, so if you could cut that out,
Yeah,
Spencer.
stop playing.
Oh right.
Yeah, actually, funnily enough, Dave, my picks are the exact reverse of yours. I think my favorite will always be Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. But in good news to proving you're not that old, I also grew up on Mario 3. There is something incredible about that one in particular. If you play
It's a masterpiece.
if you can't deal, I know there are some people who can't deal with the older graphics. If you can't, you can pick up they remade it on the Game Boy Advance, and that one has the 32-bit updated graphics, looks great. But yeah, one of the best games of all time. Nothing beats getting going behind the stage and flying to the secret I could go on forever. with that
You know
game.
what blew my mind on Super Mario World was the sound. The sound in
Yeah.
Super Mario World was on
Yeah.
a different level, and it stuck in my head for years and years and years after.
Oh,
Did you-
I
that
can
guy
hear
was a genius
everything
that did
still.
that game.
Did you guys ever, like, when you were a kid, like make up lyrics to some of the background music and then like
Oh, of
just have,
course.
sing it incessantly in your head?
Yes.
I don't
and
remember any
culture.
of them anymore, but I know I did.
Culture. You've got this
All right,
last
culture.
one, and then
I do, and then we need to keep going forward, guys. This is a great conversation. These
awesome.
super chats are genius, but I'm just going to say this: you're all very uncultured.
oh dear.
Mario 64 is still the greatest
It
Mario
is.
game ever made.
Yep.
It's
I
the
can't
best
argue
3D.
that.
I don't think anybody can argue against anybody's picks.
No, I know.
Yeah,
They're all great.
although some people apparently are the savages that cannot understand how good Super Mario Sunshine was. All right. Culture.
Yes.
Tino.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I would like to say on behalf of this channel's inaugural super chat stream, and I said inaugural improperly, but I don't care. Thank you, because goodness, you guys, we appreciate the sponsorship. Keep them coming. It'd be great. We might actually, be able to make better thumbnails or something. I don't know. Anyway, we got a story. This is our headline story. It's the most important one. I want to play the little thing again, but I'm not going to play the thing again. We're gonna
Play
we're
the
gonna
thing
fix
again.
it. Yeah, we'll
Play the
fix
thing.
All right. I just don't want to get in the habit of playing too many clips, because then I'm, what am I, discount pro? No thanks.
Oh,
Hey,
That's
I'm
fired.
joking. I'm
As
joking.
Hey,
discount
we'd be,
pro, I
we'd
take
be
that very
running a
personally.
banner at the bottom if we were pro, right, Jonas?
No comment.
Let's get going.
I know it irks you. That's why I bring it up.
This is our headline story, and it's the one that I think we're going to have the broadest conversation on, because I don't know necessarily that we can draw a whole lot of conclusions from this. And of course, it's very simply, there's a report out there, which seems to be confirmed across the board by many organizations, that Microsoft has axed their entire DEI team, claiming, and I quote, DEI programs everywhere are no longer business critical or smart as they were in 2020. Yeah. You know why? You're gonna get sued. Anyway.
Okay, but before we get into this, I want to offer one clarification that makes it even better what this is. So Microsoft themselves didn't admit it. It was a complaint from somebody who got fired, who was basically trying to take a shot at Microsoft, doing the passive aggressive, like, oh, I guess these are no longer important anymore, are they? That's a disappointment, expecting a big reaction of support. And instead everybody went, yeah, that's why you don't have a job anymore.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And for those of you who think I went hard in the paint on Pro, I did not. He's a dear friend, and that was just funny.
He's awesome.
Because sometimes Jonas will be talking, and all of a sudden there'll be a clip. But anyway.
I just have to point out that this is from thatparkplace.com. This is not from harddrive.net.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. This is us. So a new report claims that Microsoft has eliminated an entire DEI team, with a manager claiming DEI programs everywhere are no longer business critical. I agree. So this new report comes from Business Insider's Ashley Stewart, who writes, after Microsoft laid off an internal team focusing on DEI, a leader blasted the company for lack of investment in these efforts. Ooh. The email from the manager stated in part, true systems change work associated with DEI programs everywhere are no longer business critical or smart as they were in 2020. It seems like a basic understanding. The report also noted that team was eliminated because of changing business needs as of July 1. Yeah, you need to figure out how to make money again.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm glad I offered that clarification. Yeah, I think it's confusing in the Business Insider in article, and I think John got caught up in that confusion. But yes, the email that said you're all gone is separate from the one they sent out. The email that said you guys are all gone, bye, and then somebody replied back and like to the all company chain and said, I guess they're not important, like I was saying before. So yeah, just clarification, just keeping us all on point.
Yeah,
no, I agree. And as I write down when we start talking about things, so my life is easier for the clips. Despite the team being scrapped, Microsoft spokesman Jeff Jones did commit the company to diversity and inclusion. Ah, no more equity, kids. So our DEI commitments remain unchanged. He added, our focus on diversity and inclusion is unwavering, and we are holding firm on our expectations, prioritizing accountability, and continuing to focus on this work. So they still are going to get sued. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The commitment was made evident when the company rolled out the Gaming for Everybody in product inclusion framework earlier this year, which is literally going to kill all of their games. But moving on, the head of Gaming for Everyone and sustainability, okay, Katie Jo Wright explained the purpose of the framework in an interview with the games industry. If you don't intentionally include, you will unintentionally exclude, which is baloney sausage.
I mean, let's just point out that you struggled over saying it because it's word salad.
Yes.
Gaming for Everyone product inclusion framework is the kind of thing that when someone says it, someone should be able to push back and say that is a horrible name, and then to change it. This is, someone said, yes, this is what we want our product to be called. This is what this is what we want our project to be called here. That's ridiculous. That is corporatism, and it belongs in a panel of Dilbert. It's just the kind of thing that you can obviously tell this has been dehumanized and corporatized, and that is the most off-putting thing about, I don't know, a company that makes games that people play for fun, assumingly.
I mean, in my head, I'm just going dehumanized and highly corporatized, like the Friday Night Tights theme.
Culture, you and I are as old as dirt. Yeah. And do you remember a time though when it was like your focus audience? Remember that term? Like your focus, like this is the people we're focusing
Key
on.
demographic.
Key demographic, correct.
Key demo.
When did that term dissolve into this weird talk? Because this is impossible. You can't please everybody, right? You can't. Your product should never be for everybody.
This sort of, this links back to sort of a thought I had during the Dungeons and Dragons conversation with when you guys were asking, where do they get off going, oh, get out of here. We don't want your money anymore. We want this specific group. The reason all of this starts happening is because they take whatever company it is, they start taking you and your money and your, like patronage for granted. They assume that no matter what they do, they can insult you. They can, run roughshod over your games, but F you, you're still going to buy it. They've gotten complacent, and that's sort of really contributed to where we got. That's why that topic of conversation still comes up, but now it's just sort of in reverse. You know what I mean?
I think Xbox specifically, let's take Halo for example. That's you lost your core group and the understanding of the storylines, and this is the result, is like people that come in and have an agenda and want to make it for everybody, but you lose the people that sustained you for your entire existence, and you push them to the side and say you're not worth it, but they're the ones that paid a lot of money and paid for your DLC and did your skins and stuck with you through thick and thin, and now you shove them aside, assuming you can create out of thin air and a group that's never been there. Like a franchise that's 25 years old, like Xbox is now 24 years old, correct? It's been around. It has a set group of people. Same with PlayStation, same with Nintendo. And if you begin to insult because you think suddenly you can attract a group of people, like you're living in a fantasy world. And I don't mean to interrupt culture. You continue on, but it's just such weird thinking. It's such weird thinking.
I just want to be unburdened by what has been, is the same word salad that this phrase is, and current VP is spitting that out everywhere. Anyway, so yeah, that is how we are as human beings. There's no shame in that. If you want to include, you have to be intentional about it. See, that's another famous statement that you're going to hear a lot of corporations using. You must take intentional actions. And while that's true, I would say most actions are intentional, whether they be thought of ahead of time or reactionary.
No, essentially
but-
what this quote says, though, Culture, is they
Mhm.
refuse to just look at people as human beings. They
Right.
have to. We can't just cast with human beings because we're gonna unintentionally be racist. Maybe you will, lady, not me. I'm just gonna fill it with people that can do the job.
We need to look at it in the form of this framework, and I do want to look at the Jay's super chat as quickly as we can in just a moment. But a set of questions states these are the things that they frameworked out. Are you reinforcing any negative gender stereotypes? Well, we just saw an example of why you might want to do that. Let's see, and let's see, what's the second one? I don't think the second. I don't think anybody cares. The third step states create and surface content that depicts diverse characters, stories, and creators. So it's basically just still DEI. It's just it's in the form of policy of game development.
So wait, this is what they're replacing their DEI with? Is this?
Go back to that, please.
This is part of the framework here. Gaming for Everyone product inclusion framework was something we rolled out earlier in the year.
Right.
What they did do. Yeah, go ahead.
It's the most obvious name for it. And if you can go back to wherever number 3 was.
Oh, yeah. Right down here.
And the scroll up just the tiniest bit to the top of the previous paragraph. And this is, of course, included in the help customers feel seen product inclusion action page.
Oh, God.
Was this written, not this article, but all of this? Is Microsoft literally being run by an AI?
I think so.
AI?
I think so. Well, of course. I mean, this is the problem with AI. If you've now burdened AI with word salad in its future. In fact, it's grabbing word salad by the ridiculous statements that are being said by others that have been created because they've been using word salad generator, which is AI. We're going to see AI get super dumb.
It's no wonder Skynet wipes us out of the planet. I mean, come on.
Well, maybe it gets tired
of
our
dumb. Word salad. Yeah,
but they have to in AI. They artificially have to include a framework, not reality and logic, but they have to set a framework within it that enforces all of this garbage. So every time it does something, it's going to spit out garbage. And in light of any evidence to the contrary, or even when there is evidence to the contrary, it's going to continue to spit out word salad because its prime directives are compromised, for lack of a better way of saying it. Anyway, so this obviously just keeps going through all of these things, breaking it down in a way that just it makes it so that Xbox will not be a game company and likely never have another console again because it'll be unsustainable. You're also I see the future of Game Pass collapsing because they just put it in a price range now that nobody's going to want to sign up for it.
Yeah, it's very deliberate. They're doing the same thing streaming did, right? It's not a sustainable platform. And they don't even have advertising, right? So they don't have
they're trying to put that into everything, by the way. So, yeah. It's frustrating, and we've got some more supers, but if you just give me a moment, we will we'll wrap through this. This article was important to me today because they can tell you what they're doing. They're just pivoting to a different way of saying it and doing it. That's why what's worse than DEI and all these other things, ESG and that garbage, is this bridge garbage that they now have in place. And that's even worse. And that's coming straight out of Bill Gates. So thank you, Microsoft. Anyway, so the company employs proud Rossises like Kelly Lombardi, who posted on X in March, raise your hand if you're not a white man and you buy video games.
Me. I'm an orange monster.
There you go.
You're a monster. Anyways, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah. Oh, and Madam Savvy.
I'm a monster, and so is this lady.
Yeah, and Madam Savvy came back hard back then. Look at that. Good for her. He's amazing. Anyway, so she added, no hate to white dudes. It's just another day in the gaming industry that minorities have to fight to prove they exist. It's such garbage.
Why would
How
they
about
have
you
to
just
fight to
exist
prove
as a
that?
person, as a professional who's here to do their job? Why do you have to put the identifier of your race in there as well? Just stop it. Just do your job. Show up to work, do your job, do it well. You'll have a job. Good Lord.
Well, I think she can be unburdened by what has been or something. I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
She must hate her father, right? Because she's a white lady. So I'm assuming she hates her dad.
Of course she does.
Of course, yeah. Well,
Her father, of course, being Falco Lombardi.
They all do.
That is true. Daddy issues probably not too uncommon in this line of thinking.
Yeah, well, just, look up her Tinder profile. Anyway, not only does the company employ individuals like Kelly Lombardi, but it uses its video games to push disordered lifestyles and evil ideologies. Well, that's a characterization. I would say that there are some problems. The company's Halo.
That's John going for it.
That is not my take on this. Just everybody,
Okay, all right. I promise you,
I'm not here to judge anybody's ideology or lifestyle. If you're an adult, live your life.
I understood. We'll move on.
Yeah, the company's Halo X account did this at the beginning of the last month, writing, "Let's stand together in honoring our LGBTQIA plus community and forging a future of unity and acceptance for all." And of course, this is I think everybody used this as a thumbnail. Did you use it as a thumbnail?
I look forward to when they do the Christian Pride Month for me.
There you go.
To that. When is that scheduled?
Oh, by the way, accounts that at Halo mentioned, those are the ones that can come. There's nothing like fortitude and strength of your conviction to cause you to limit replies. Anyway, so in fact, Halo composer Marty O'Donnell even revealed, and I remember this because I covered this story. I think we covered it here on our very first stream, Jonas, revealed that the wokeness had been seeping into the company as far back as 2002, which I would say was just leftover. What did we call it back then? PC? Politically correct thinking?
Yep, that's absolutely what it was called back in 2002.
Yeah, this stuff just gets regurgitated and given a new coat of paint, and it's still the same pig. Anyway, so I started seeing it a little bit even during Halo 2, and I don't have to go through all this because we've already shared it. It was a brilliantly done evaluation. Of course, Jonas is pretty bright, and he's the one who led that conversation. But I don't know that I take this. I'm not taking this to heart because Microsoft is Microsoft. If they've already instilled this at the heart of the company, at the heart of everything that they're doing, which it seems like with this, they still have DEI, right? And they have this checklist of things so that you have to work within that incredibly woke framework. I don't believe any of this. What do you guys think? I'm just curious. Jonas? Anyone?
This is a fascinating thing. One, I think it's an acknowledgement that people they're catching on to the idea that DEI is an unpopular way to refer to any of this. And there are political movements in America that continuously play hide the ball. And I'm not going to get too specific because I don't want to get too political, but they'll generally switch back and forth every generation or so on how they refer to themselves politically, because one phrase will become associated with things that are considered ridiculous, and then they will change it back to the other one once they feel like people have forgotten what it means or what the social connotation was there. The continual redefinition of words is an issue that I see here. I don't think DEI is going away. I do appreciate the idea that the entire DEI team got fired, because at least it means that there might be less of a focus. Changing the entire culture of an organization that is as large as Microsoft is a generational effort more than it is we'll get rid of this one guy. You have to put a policy in writing to enact change, and even then people will still try to skirt around it. So I don't see Microsoft as quote unquote saved at this point, especially with the idea that they are now offering a console-less console. That is a soulless move, not just a console-less move there. So I don't think Microsoft is saved, but I'm glad to see at least a step in the right, more than a step, maybe a leap in the right direction.
To me, this seems like we just needed to cut our staff because we're bleeding money right now. And now we're just going to have the work that these people were doing will be done by somebody else, probably. I don't think that a company that is still at least in part owned by Bill Gates is ever going to abandon these kind of concepts. I'll believe it when I see it. Like, do I believe like John Deere, like for what they released yesterday? Yes, I believe that. But I don't believe that Microsoft is gonna completely abandon ship like that.
I agree. It'll probably just be absorbed into their HR department, right?
Yeah. Like Jonas said, they're going to call it something else.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and I'm a super Xbox fan. Like I've been with it since inauguration back in 2001, and I bought every single console. But I think its days are over. And
My
I hate to
man.
admit that. And I think it's from their own doing. And it's stuff like this. Like, I think they don't seem to understand gamers. I don't care who's in charge. Just make it entertaining and make it something like understand your core audience.
I mean, I would
Understand what made
argue
it great.
I would argue they've never understood gamers. I think that gamers have always kind of been a mystery to Microsoft because we all saw when the Xbox One came out and they decided to make it the centerpiece of this Star Trek living room, you know, where it was going to be an entertainment, you know, console now instead of just a gaming console. They wanted away from gamers in
I would
the
argue,
worst way.
I think you're right, but that was that change with the Xbox One. Like through the 360 generation, everybody I knew had an Xbox 360. Like that was
the 360.
The only reason
had
that happened though was because the PlayStation 3 was an ultimate failure at first, right? So
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they made it
Programs
$600. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember
it
that?
was too
Remember that
expensive.
I
E3
do.
when the
I
Microsoft
do. I remember the
and
graphic
Nintendo-
and everything.
And just as quickly as those guys jumped on the bandwagon, because you were bandwagon people, by the way, you all were,
Oh.
and we knew it. Like Xbox players, we knew you were bandwagoners, and you would jump right off with PlayStation 4, and look what happened. So at the end of the day, what happened, and I don't have any bitterness against PlayStation. I'm glad it exists. I'm glad Nintendo has a console. But like Microsoft's done, as far as I'm concerned, and it's evidence, like Culture said, they've changed there's no console coming out because they haven't said it is, which usually they would by this point because we're in year 7 or 8 now.
Yeah.
And PlayStation, Sony's been hinting they are going to release one, I think, next year. So I think they're going to step away and think they foolishly believe that they can do what Google could not, which was make an online version of Xbox, and it will not work. And
No.
they're already done.
never.
Like they have no space.
anytime soon.
Whether I like it or not, I do like the Microsoft Store. I think it's not as intrusive as.
I can
the
agree
other
with
one.
that. Yeah.
It's not as intrusive as other ones. It's a little simpler. I do get the benefits of the Ultimate Pack to play free PC games too. But their days are done, and I'm positive they're going to exit this market in 2 years, at least console wise. Now they'll survive maybe 3 more years with their. But I think just as they've taken over all these studios, that's what they want to become. They want to become a
Like a
game
publisher
studio.
now?
Yeah, they want to become a publisher and just put it on PlayStation and work with Nintendo going forward. And that's actually where they're going to make their money because the risk is much lower than losing money every year on not only their console, but losing money on the Ultimate Pack and stuff like that, which we mentioned. So that's my 2 cents. And I love Xbox, so I'm admitting it's done. So.
Well, I agree with that because we had that confession from Phil Spencer a couple months ago so that anecdote I just gave of everybody having a 360, that's held pretty true with everybody I've ever talked to is that, yeah, everybody I knew had it. So it had a genuine market domination. Phil Spencer came out like a month or 2 ago and admitted that for every generation Xbox has existed, they've placed 3rd at all times. And that is absolutely bonkers considering the early failure of the PS3, the early failure of the PS5, the Wii U. That is just a bizarre amount of mismanagement that you couldn't ever even come in second during the 360 generation.
And I 100% agree with that.
Once they fixed the PlayStation 3, once they made it affordable, I think everybody was like, okay, cool, now I can go buy my PlayStation. Because you remember that one
true.
E3, the guy that was I forget his name, the guy he was the head of Nintendo. He passed away a couple of years back, but he literally was. Yeah, he was literally laughing at the Sony rep at E3. He's like, $600 American dollars! Like he was so entertained by the fact that
it was great.
You could buy an Xbox, a Wii, and have money for games.
So I agree with you. I think after they made it more affordable, more people started adopting it. But at that point, it was a significant loss to enter the race that late because now, everybody's already gone out and tried to get a 360 because that's the console that was available. And then B, when that console breaks, people are just going to go buy more 360s. They're not going to go out all of a sudden and go, well, I'll abandon all of my purchases on Microsoft to go to PSN. They're going to go, well, I'll just go buy another Xbox. So you get that return investment, especially with how bad that hardware was with the Red Rings of Death. So yeah,
3 times that happened to me, by the way. 3
me
times.
too. I even did the towel trick where you wrap the Xbox in a towel to get like 3 extra hours of life out of it. Oh, that was a nightmare.
That just tells you how hot that thing was running, though, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you could
No
fly and
quality
hang on top.
control.
But we've got super chats, correct, Jonas? Let's go to super
Yes, we
chats.
do. Yes, we do. Culture, you ready?
Gigawatts.
Yes, sir.
All
Let's do
right.
it.
Butter biscuit for $2. Great conversation. The funeral can wait. You know, I say this every single day. No, that's awful to say every single day.
Oh,
But thank you
wow.
very much. SFX Sabretooth Raptor for $5. Love the power suit in Mega Man 6. Wished it was in more games. Which Mario power-ups do you like the best? I would say Starman, but that one it's over too fast. So I'm gonna have to go with the raccoon tail.
Yes.
I could go Tanuki, which gives you the raccoon tail powers, but the raccoon tail from Mario 3 is probably
From
my
3.
favorite. Yeah.
For me, I like the cat from 3D from.
Oh
3D
yeah.
World.
Yeah,
It was really, that thing was broken as heck. Like you were unbeatable once you
could
were a cat.
climb up everything with that.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And that was
Anybody else
canon.
before
They
we
put
move
that
on?
in the movie. Donkey
They
Kong.
did.
Mario beat up Donkey Kong with it. I love the cape. It's just very. You get to fly into the air. I don't know. Very
yeah.
something very simple about that.
I favored Tanuki, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Dave?
Yeah, I'm across. Well, the cape came after, right? So I think.
Yep.
I think what you said, Jonas, was correct. I think it's the foundation of where, like, as a kid when you're flying, it was so cool. Like, it just blew your mind. Like you're flying, and oh look up here, I found more coins and stuff, and there's more levels up here. It's like mind blowing at the time, and it really advanced, I think, Mario, and that was the 2D days. But any 2D version has some flying aspect now, so it was great.
Yep. Did you say one, Spencer, or did you kind of agree with?
Oh no, I
Marvin?
said the cape. I like the
cool.
yellow cape, pure on.
I do like the cape, except that you didn't have control at the end. It was a wild ride.
Yeah, he kind of just. Da-dum.
Jay for $20. The reaction
Wow.
videos of
Thank
the
you,
Smash
Jay.
announcement of Sora and the announcement of Toy Story and Kingdom Hearts 3 were great. Most of the fans I saw are at least a decade younger than me, so I feel happy for our younger siblings.
Yes.
I mean, Sora
100%.
I never thought it would happen. I mean, obviously the
Me
joke
neither.
was there that it was Sora LTD and Sora from
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts. Disney obviously not famous for playing well with others here, so I was really surprised when it happened.
I
It
like
takes a lot
watching.
for- yeah, you
Go
go.
ahead.
You go. No.
I like watching the reaction videos. I find that fandom just energy and like excitement and happiness are just like really
Yeah.
entertaining to me. So like I will routinely pop on like a bunch of like Sora Kingdom Hearts video reactions, or the big one I always like to go to is Luke Skywalker shows up in The Mandalorian season 2. People's
yeah.
reaction to that are
Yeah,
amazing.
people lost it for that one.
Yeah. I love that kind of stuff. So I am 100% with Jay here. It's a feel good moment. I mean, did some people take it a little far where they were like openly weeping? Yeah, maybe. But you know what? Good for them if that's how they want to show their appreciation of that milestone announcement. And the video was beyond perfect, where everyone turned
those
into
always
the
are. Yeah, they're so great.
yeah. Everyone turned into the statues, and then Sora came in. Oh man, with the Kingdom Hearts music playing. So
Yeah.
good.
Like that's
So
what I
good.
was saying, is that was one of the very rare moments in modern day entertainment where I was genuinely surprised, right? Because nowadays we have leaks, and especially being in the business that all of us are in, we have leaks and insiders and all that fun stuff, and we can see trends and sort of guess what's going to, pop up. But when it came to the last Smash character, I was like, I have no idea who they'll pick. Everybody I would have guessed is already in, so who knows? Bring it up, like whatever it'll be.
There
and
were so many rumors.
Mickey, and I was like, no way. Yeah, go ahead.
There was so many rumors. There was Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden, I remember, was floating around. I remember
Yeah, there were
Devil May
so
Cry,
many.
Master
wanted that
Chief
one.
from Halo. They were all flying around. Then of course, Waluigi and Gino from Mario RPG, the ones that were always floating around. So
The ones that have always been there forever. Gino's never happening, guys. I don't know.
No.
I don't know how to break this to you, but he's not happening. I'd love to see him, but he's not happening.
my favorite part of the video is immediately after the video when it goes back to Mr. Sakurai and he goes, oh, like he's just amazing. I love that guy.
Love it.
I love all the presentations for the Nintendo Directs.
Oh, they're so
Yeah.
good. And even when they're awkward, they're fun.
And we will cover those live
Going
here
forward,
on
yeah.
That Game Plays.
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun.
Awesome.
Oh, good.
Can't wait.
Microsoft
RIP.
might not be around next year, so
Xbox might not be.
Xbox.
Rest-
Xbox.
We'll do
I mean,
retro.
I-
we'll do
Xbox.
retro E3 reveal reactions.
Yep.
Here's
Uh,
Halo
did you-
6. Oh, no.
Real quick, because we are talking about this stuff, and I think it's important, but because it is related to Microsoft, they're so desperate to get people away from their console and onto Game Pass type things that they partnered with Fire Stick.
Oh, and those work great. They just work
I'm just saying.
fantastic. Rest in peace, Bad Wolf, or maybe it's just Rip Bad Wolf for $5. These companies are not getting rid of DEI.
Bye-bye,
These
Doctor
teams
Who.
are being worked into the company's heart. It's called Bridge. Kirsch talks about
Yes. Boom.
I agree with
right on the money. Right
Oh
on
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Jacob Foxfires for $5. Oh man, you guys are all being so generous today.
You guys are all the
man,
best. Yeah.
I have some wild theories about the future of gaming and the consoles, but I will save that for another day when I do have some spare cash. Jacob, we appreciate you, and we appreciate everything that you are doing here today. SFX Sabertooth Raptor for $5. Nintendo, I think, will be the last physical game console company. Old games will rule the day. New games will fade away to never land.
I'm with you.
Oh, never
I believe
land.
so.
Sorry. I think of the
First
big
goes
ones
right
right now. You're probably right. I think there will always be someone making a console somewhere, even if it's an in-the-box PC that is ready to play
Yeah.
anything. And then people might certify to be, yes, this is how we'll interact with
Nintendo
that.
will, because Nintendo wants control of their product, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want to have the control
Always.
End to
like,
end.
physically
To a fault, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why we still are on cartridges.
Yep.
That's why.
correct, which
And
is,
I
which
don't-
is odd, but I see the benefits.
you know what I
and the-
love? You
yeah.
know what I love about it, Space Dave, is that they can't say something's gold and release it and it be garbage. It's got to be working
Done.
out the box.
That's right.
And might I add, as a collector, I look forward to in about 20 years them being worth triple what I paid. So
Oh yeah.
Let's see
Get them
here.
graded, man.
SFX Sabertooth Raptor for $5 more. I love this comment. I got my PS3 through gift cards that I racked up with points I got from my place of work at the time. I love the last console I did this with.
I kind of love that.
Somebody sold me an Xbox that they were just getting rid of, an Xbox 360, obviously, and then I traded in my PS2 at the same time. It was one of those things where you're just like finagling everything together to get.
Going under the car seats to find
let me
your
guess,
tax
at
change.
GameStop, right? GameStop.
No, actually,
No?
I refused with the GameStop. I found the well, actually, I'm going to take this back. I found out that GameStop was offering one of the items at a higher price, and so I went to multiple stores, and I just squeaked by to get enough for also a controller. So good stuff here.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
You do what
That's
you
all.
gotta do.
I love the hunt like that. Like that's something that doesn't really exist anymore in the internet age. Like, oh, I'm looking for this. I got to go to that store. Oh no, I found a better deal here. Because now I can just go, all right, Google, what's the lowest price, and I got it. So there's something. This is such a hyperbolic like statement I'm going to say, but I feel like it triggers something in that hunter gatherer part of like the man brain, like the hunter part, where it's like I went out, I did mission, I got like thing. I did good for tribe.
Dude, we said, a friend of mine back when Halo 2 was released, we sat out for hours in front of a Zellers. Only Canadians will know what that is. We sat out and got a special version copy of that. And yeah, like you said, it's like, yeah, look at me. Like, and we got a t-shirt free too. I mean, it didn't fit,
Oh man,
but
midnight
I loved it.
campouts. Those are things.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what that is anymore. I
Yeah.
miss those.
perfect. Jay for $5. Who did you vote for in the Smash Brothers ballot? I voted for Zero from the X series. Ooh, this is a great one. Everybody,
Oh, I don't even remember back in the
I
day.
don't.
Yeah, me neither.
It's a long time ago.
I probably voted for Mega Man, and then I probably voted for Cloud when he was up there, and that's I helped. I did it.
I think I stayed away because all of the games that I played were Nintendo games, and I love Super Mario RPG, but my favorite characters were already in the game.
Right. So you're like, yeah, I got
I
what I
wasn't
want.
worried
Let
about. I
everybody
wasn't
else
worried
have
about
fun.
Gino, but maybe I would have voted for him.
You're part of the problem then. You're why we don't have Gino yet.
Canceled.
I think Square Enix is the reason we don't have Gino. I'm just going to throw that out there. Butterbiscuit 92 for $5. I do hope Square moves on from Sora soon, so they can ditch the Disney characters before Disney finds a way to ruin it. This is a great thing about Disney and video games, though. They aren't developers. They don't know what they're doing.
That would mean that they would abandon Kingdom Hearts as a franchise because Disney is co-owner of that. So,
but Disney is famous for starting a video game studio and then shutting it down, or getting a game studio because they want one and then shutting it down. They don't stay developers very long. They got LucasArts, and what did they do?
They shut it down immediately.
They had their Disney arm. They shut it down.
I never ever thought I'd see the day because LucasArts came out with some classic games. Like
they did.
Great.
They were
titles.
SSS top tier developer.
Yeah, they were like when I saw that stamped on something, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get a good quality game here. I'm looking
Force
forward
Unleashed,
to this.
Bounty Hunter, Rogue Squadron,
Pod Racer.
They took the horse that
Secret of
didn't
Monkey
need to
Island.
They took the horse in the back and made it into glue, and they didn't need to. They constantly
Zach McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders. Anyone remember that? Was that?
I do. Yep.
I do not.
Yeah.
I think that's got a mobile port nowadays.
Does it?
I think so. I think.
Wow.
Don't quote me on it. But I know a lot of those old ones.
Monkey Island, Maniac Mansion, like all these.
Oh yeah, those I know those two definitely do. Maniac Mansion and Monkey definitely.
Like as an app, like you could search for it in the app store. Okay, I'm gonna search for this. Hold on.
All right. DLJ Screwjob for $5.
Yeah,
when Halo 5
there goes
comes
his
out.
appearance on the stream.
Yeah. TLJ Screwjob for $5. When Halo 5 came out, there was nothing about you hate Team Osiris because non-white dudes. People just talked about how badly written their story, they and the story were. Yeah.
One thing I always found weird about Halo 5 is that is Spartan Locke the one who's hunting down Master Chief. His model, his face and body and all that, it's Mike Coulter. It's Luke Cage. He's very recognizable. And then he has a different voice actor. And it just weirds me out. Like I don't understand that.
And they dissed Master Chief at the end of the day. I mean,
of course they've ever since to me Halo ends with Reach. Like as soon as Bungie was done with it, there's no more Halo.
There was some promise.
There's no TV show. There's no 4. There's no 5.
Again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It's people that don't understand the universe. That really bother me. And when what's her name took it over and made it into 343.
Kiki Wolfkill.
Yeah, I mean, I got bad taste in my mouth. I'm sorry. Go on.
That's right. Jacob Foxfires for $5. Will say so far my theories are in line with everyone here, but will remind you of how big Sony and Microsoft really are. They will try to force it. Yeah, these are giant companies that are able to buy entire studios. Now, Sony
on a whim
will negotiate a little bit more, and Microsoft will just show up with the checkbook and take care of everything. But I'll save my opinions on who's better at this. But obviously, they both have problems. Anybody want to comment before we move on?
As soon as you hear Microsoft specifically, because that's more my realm, has bought out like anything, you're like, oh no, well, that'll get shut down in a week or two. I mean, why would you buy, like you're buying something, but remember you're buying the talent behind that too, and they don't never realize that. They think they're just buying an IP. Well, who created that IP, right? Who's the hands that made this sculpture, so to speak? And if you don't have the original artiste, so to speak, in the group that made it, then you're not going to get the same product, nor do you have I think the focus to say, hey, this isn't just a company, it is the people behind that company, and I want that talent. It's called talent acquisition, not just a name acquisition. When you lose that talent, you lose the product, and then it's lost to time. And that's over and over and over, that's what's happened. Which is why I think Bethesda being purchased, oh my goodness. I mean, they're not great for making engines, so to speak, but they have made some really good games. So I am like, oh no, what's going to happen with, these Fallout 5 and things like that? How can they wreck that? Comes to my mind. How can they shut half the team down, or I don't know. I'm scared.
Yep. All right. And Culture, I'm going to return the show to you.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I was unprepared because we were having such great conversations because of the super chat. So thank you all very much for that. I appreciate it. We, of course, have stories that I wanted to cover today. This one we are definitely going to cover, and it may not take very long to do so. I think that this is one that somebody on the panel wrote.
Some guy, somebody out there.
some fella. Yeah, this is from Bounding into Comics, and it's written by Spencer Baculi, and so Genshin Impact developer MiHoYo. Reportedly telling players accusing new Natlan region of racism to remember that game is a work of fiction. When I saw that, I lost my mind laughing. I was like,
I laughed so hard when I saw the message that I like ran to write this article. I was almost in tears.
Yeah, so if you are unfamiliar, folks, in response to accusations of racism regarding Genshin Impact's upcoming Natlan region, developer MiHoYo has reportedly taken to reminding unhappy players that the popular gacha game is not representative of real life. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, but rather a work of fiction. Yes, but rather a work of fiction. So this particular region is set to open its gates to players with the game's soon-to-be released 5.0 update. The Natlan region is defined by its warrior-centric culture, the adherence to which has led in its various peoples to organize not into large societies, but rather individual tribes, all of whom follow their own rules. Like the game's other regions, the visual aesthetic of Natlan takes inspiration from various real-world cultures, most notably those found through South America and Africa. However, in one distinct difference between itself and its inspirations, the people of Natlan are not dark-skinned in the slightest, but rather boast a tone that can best be described as very slightly tan. Well done. Well done there on the writing.
That's right. Gotta have fun.
Very slightly tan.
So you mean the Japanese studio made a game that features
Chinese
studio.
Chinese
I'm sorry, a Chinese studio made a game that features Asian people? Call the cops.
Stop the presses.
Well, I would like to say that China, much like Japan and many other countries around the world, are ethnocentric. So
that's why I always laugh every time like Japan or China or Korea like create some piece of media and then like all the weirdo Americans are like, where's the black people? And I'm like, they're like, what?
It's
like it's a different country. They don't have the same issues or perspectives or whatever. Like it. Deal with it.
Play by your Western rules. They're their own country.
They're very proud of their culture too. So I mean, why?
But yeah, you can't get you can't get.
Hey, we're proud of our culture here too, even if we don't let them talk.
True. And okay, let's continue. And it is the skin color discrepancy that's prompted numerous Genshin Impact players, to accuse MiHoYo of racism. Replying to the post detailing information that new character and Natlan native Kachina at You Spoony Bard 1 exclaimed, "Giant drill, oh goodness. How is she whiter here than she was in the trailer?" Wow.
Anime characters are not white. They're Asian.
Well, but that's also the thing too, is that so we don't have to really like deep dive into all of the responses, because I just have a lot of players losing their minds over this fact that these characters were inspired by Africa and India or whatever. Why aren't they as dark as their inspiration points? So that's what everybody is losing their minds over. And this particular complaint is so dumb. Why aren't they as dark as they were in the trailer? Because anytime this sort of argument arises, it just reveals that whoever is making the complaint doesn't understand what lighting is. They don't understand that the sun or different color lights can also affect black people's skin too, right? Black people are not a nexus void of color that just eats all light. Like it's bizarre, it's bonkers, and it kind of just shows their racism, assuming that they would all be, midnight dark and not have variations on their skin tone when hit with direct sunlight or a spotlight or whatever. Like in all these trailers, they're very clearly standing outside in like a desert field region. You're going to be lit up and as light as possible.
I wouldn't hang my hat entirely on that. It's just this is what they see daily. They don't see other things, so they reflect the world around them, right? And that's always the argument we hear when they're talking about the DEI. Well, the world around me is this. Well, you live in 15 blocks of Burbank, California, so yeah, your world is very diverse. But you go to the middle of Iowa, that's not what the world looks like. You go to China. China does not look. There's no there. There are very few people that are not Chinese in China. If you go to Japan,
everything should look exactly like my life in Burbank, California. Where's all the tent cities of homeless people?
I'm offended. There's not more characters wearing toques and igloos. All right, Canadians are highly offended by this stuff.
There is zero. You guys don't get representation until you stop taking our jobs. I'm putting that down there.
Okay,
our comedy jobs are sacred to America, and you're taking them all.
Not one single member of the Hot family is represented in this.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay, so moving on real quickly, I love this challenge from this the Waddy or whatever, whoever this is, the H Waddy, I don't know, whatever. This person does this. It's funny.
Who's their user?
Spot the difference. One is from a place that is representing Germany, while the other is supposed to represent Maya and Zapotecs. Hardest challenge ever. I think you can tell from the costuming.
Yeah.
They're trying to make a point. They look the same. It's because that's again, they look the same. I don't think it's obvious to anybody what that is. So anyway, we keep moving. So Haunted came and said, Genshin is not real life. Genshin Impact, what kind of response is this when a player submits feedback about the racism and colorism, which I think is garbage, by the way. Embarrassing
it's the
and professional.
Right response.
No.
Isn't this the same response Ubisoft gave when we were all complaining about all their inconsistencies? Yes,
but that's not what I was saying. This person is using ridiculous terms in here, racism and colorism. And the Genshin is not real life is the exact response. But this person's like, it's embarrassing. No, it's not. Yeah, it's insane. So anyway, thank you for that article. I appreciate that. Of course.
Great job, Spencer.
But it's even, you'll see now though, there has been a development over the last couple of days where the English voice actors for the game, like not just one, not just two, but I'd say at least a dozen have all joined in on the protests going, oh, you should demand better representation. This is such a failure. This is unacceptable. Like it is such an infection, as I think Dave said earlier.
So they don't want a job is what you're saying, right?
It's kind of what it feels like.
Well, I think you're right there, Spencer. And I think, look, if you're a voice actor, don't go hard in the paint on stuff that's going to make it harder for you to get a job. Because these jobs are going to become even less and less frequent. It's the same thing in Hollywood. Don't make yourself unhireable. Okay.
Well, again, there's also just the base level hypocrisy of, oh, we demand better representation, blah blah blah. Okay, you're all if you want to play this game, you're all white voice actors from America. Why are you voicing Japanese anime characters? That's not right. How dare you? Why does the standard only apply to one specific or one set of shade colors and not another? It's so dumb.
I agree with you. Jonas, where are we at, sir?
I believe Jonas
is coming up close.
Away.
He had to step away. I think you're going to have to.
Okay.
Yeah, we are coming up close. We got 2 minutos. We could probably hit whatever super chats we have left.
Yes,
if we have any.
We do. I'm trying to see, were there any that we didn't get through? I think...
There are definitely a few.
Okay, well, I think we've been through everything, but perhaps not.
No, I think we've got 2. I think did we not do the TLJ Screwjob and Jacob Foxfires? Did we do those?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, we did those. Yeah, no, we did those. No, we're good on Super Chat.
I think we're caught up, which is great. So that's wonderful. I just want to say this. This is the 4th week that we've done the show. We are officially 4 weeks old today. And you guys made it. You guys made it wonderful. You made it incredible. You delivered. We became monetized, at least for super chats, in a month. That's very tough to do, and it's all because of you. Thank you all so very much. I just want to say on the last super chat, which I'm going to grab right about now. It's from John JID 999 for 199 for the 199
No.
for $2. I was gonna say culture cash, but this is not my channel. That's like
All the
you
shows
got-
are blending together.
Yeah, it's like this is
Seriously.
hey, it's your $2 worth of tokens. I appreciate that. Hope y'all are doing well. We are. Today was an
Yes.
incredible day. Thanks to all of you. On that note,
Yep. All thanks
on
to you
behalf
guys.
of myself, Spencer Baculi from Bounding into Comics and his own channel, on behalf of Tooneytown TV, Tooneytown Wrestling, and of course Marvin the Movie Monster, go check out his channel. The great Space Dave 2000, who really does help put the background in the background for us. And finally, Jonas J. Campbell, who is pretty much on every channel that I'm not. So way to go, Jonas, from That Park Place and everywhere else. I gotta love Jonas a lot. On that note, as always, we'll end the same way we always do. Game on.